Has anything terrible ever happened to you?
What do you want me to say?
You wanted this conversation. You wanted to talk about something that matters. Talk.
My name is LavaeReed and I'm an artist, and this is my piece titled Ego Death. This is a 14 by 17 inch piece made with charcoal and pastels on heavyweight paper. This is an illustration of a man who is facing his last moments in life as he has suffered a gunshot wound to the head. This black man wearing a gray hoodie with a bullet wound in his head with blood dripping out of it also has a blue iris flower just blooming from the gunshot wound. And in front of him is a hand holding a gun with smoke emitting from it, and the smoke is like someone takes the shape of a woman that is like gazing upon him with a saddened, almost serene look, kind of like a look that's filled with a lot of empathy, maybe sympathy, even like a little bit of guilt too. And that's pretty much the scene that I have illustrated within this piece. Now, I made this piece because I wanted to illustrate I made this piece simply because I'm tired, man. More specifically, tired of love, if that makes sense. Love is truly something that really consumes me as an individual, and it's like a part of who I am. It truly, makes me the individual who I am today. And it's kind of sad to say that I kind of wish to be free from it. But since it's a part of me, I can't really do that. And I feel like the only time I'll actually be free of such pain, and I don't want to say like such a burden, but that's what it kind of feels like, is that if I'll like finally be free from it when I'm dead, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Because that's what this piece represents. This piece illustrates a man who is finally able to find peace and serenity only after he is killed. This is a man who is no longer facing pain and fatigue from just dealing with love, from dealing with the hardships of the world, and dedicating his entire self into somebody he loves so deeply. I want to elaborate and kind of talk more about what an ego death actually is. An ego death is kind of like the realization that nothing truly matters anymore as your life is coming to an end. So if you can imagine that, or like put yourself in this kind of situation, this kind of perspective, if you will, when you're about to die and you're coming to your last moments, you know how they say that your life flashes before your eyes before you actually move on to the other side? It's kind of like that. So as your memories, best moments, possibly regrets, all of it is going through your mind, you're going to get to a point where, well, this is what I imagine what it's like, but you're going to get to a point that you just let go of all of it because it doesn't matter anymore, because you come to the realization that this is the end. Everything that I cherished, everything that I cared about, everything that was important to me, I'm letting go of all of it because this is where my story ends. And that's what an ego death is. Now, usually when it comes to the term ego death, it's more like referred to when somebody goes through that death experience but ends up living, or they were like brought back to life, or they were able to be saved in a hospital or something. So then they have this new perspective in life because their ego has been destroyed, it doesn't exist anymore. They see light, they see life in a different light, in a sense. And that's basically what an ego death is. And that's what I wanted to illustrate with this piece. And that's kind of the whole significance behind the blue iris flower, because like the flower kind of illustrates peace, serenity, and even hope and faith. If you are somebody who believes in God and you believe you're gonna make it to heaven, when you reach those final moments of your life, I imagine that you're probably gonna feel bliss because you're gonna make it to the other side. You're gonna make it to where God resides in the heavens. But more importantly, what this piece is about is it's the part of letting go to the things I have kept holding on to so dearly. What is it that I've been holding on to? Let's go ahead and get into that. As I mentioned earlier, the hand that's holding the gun with smoke emitting from it takes the shape of a woman that is gazing upon the victim. It's almost like she feels guilt, or she's feeling like a lot of sympathy for him, as if like perhaps she's the reason why he got himself in a situation like this. You can kind of speculate how You can kind of speculate how he kind of got himself into this situation. It's very much up into like interpretation. But all you know for sure is that those two are definitely connected. Making art is so important to me, man, because, I really do learn a lot about myself and who I am as an individual. And I end up growing from each piece that I make, So for the longest time, I've been telling myself I just need to let go of like this whole idea of having a love life, this dream of getting married someday, building my own little family. But that's proving to be like easier said than done. You know what I mean? I just feel like I need to really accept all parts of myself instead of trying to take this aspect, this certain chunk of me and discarding it. I need to learn how to accept all the parts of myself so that I can continue to move forward. I just feel like this piece is more relatable than a lot of y'all might think. Sure, I be coming up like crazy ideas, crazy little stories that I kind of put together in my own mind, but I genuinely thought that I was going to end up in a situation like this before. This happened like a long time ago, years ago. And once upon a time, my ex called me and she called to tell me about how she was, going to celebrate her birthday by going out to such and such, having a good time with all her friends and stuff. But for one reason or another, somebody had kind of suggested that they might pull up on her, possibly jump her, or even shoot her. So she was really worried about that, and she didn't really have anybody that she can like call or rely on that night. So she called me. Her and I are not together at this point in time. This is my ex, but like we were not together at this point. I told her like, hey, don't worry about anything. Just go out and have fun. I'll be there to make sure that things are straight and that you're safe. Turns out nothing really happened. She had a great time. She had a blast celebrating her birthday, and then we all just went home, right? But it's my thought process leading up to that moment. As soon as we hung up the phone and stopped talking, maybe a couple hours until her actual party or whatever. So I contemplated how the situation might go, because my dramatic ass really thought that I was gonna die that night. I sat there and I thought to myself, like, I'm confident that I can really protect him. But I'm a pacifist at heart, so I don't own any guns or anything like that. So if it comes down to it, my ass is grass. So it's just like I was really prepared to not see the next day that night. And I was prepared to make that sacrifice just strictly out of love. So like I'm really the type of guy to find myself in a position like this, and that's why I really made this piece the way that I did, It really is crazy to say, but love causes me so much grief, and I really do wish to be free from it, at least for right now. Maybe I just need to take time to heal, or whatever that process is like. I don't know. All I know how to do is make art, bro. Like, I used to talk about all the time how love is very transactional, whether it's friendships, relationships, or shit, even with family too. Like if you don't get anything out of this person, you're gonna drop them immediately. It's always about the instant gratification that you can get from somebody, and it's just very transactional, I actually had a conversation with somebody a long time ago about this, and they said they hate when people say that, because that's how love has always been. And to me, that is so screwed up, so backwards. Talking about that's how love has always been. It's always been very transactional. So they hate when people say that, because you have to understand that unconditional love is not a thing. Unconditional love and love are the same thing. The moment you make it transactional, it's not love at all, because it doesn't matter how long you've known this person, how long y'all been cool, y'all been in this relationship, right? As soon as they stop providing the thing that they've been providing, or the thing that you require, then it's done for. If these relationships are all about what people can do and supply for you, well, I hate to break it to you, but there's always going to be somebody that is going to supply more. There's always somebody that is better looking. There's always someone who has more money. There's always somebody who has this or more of that. There's always somebody better. And if it's so easy to be replaced by people, then I'd rather just not deal with it at all. Why stay? You know what I mean? Like, why stay in a friendship like that? Why stay in a relationship with that? Even if that's how like society is, even if that's how like this generation is, that everything's very transactional, why would I conform to that when I know that's wrong in my heart? You know? It makes no sense. I don't know why some people just expect me to hop on the bandwagon like, okay, well, this is how everybody else is treating relationships. This is how I should do it too. So after I made this piece, you know, I went ahead and did my thing, shared it with social media, posted on Facebook, Instagram, and all that, right? On Facebook, I posted it in this art group, or just a group where I think everybody loves art. And like within an hour of me posting this piece, somebody posted this AI generated art piece that was like based off of my art or whatever. And they did that without my consent, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there. I didn't really know how to feel in that moment, because I understand like there was a lot of discourse around the topic of AI art and like the problems with it and such as like, you know, it's basically copyright, because you know what AI generated art is taking the styles, the ideas, and the work of other artists and implementing those into creating whatever image that you're trying to generate. That's basically what it is, and that's why there's so much controversy behind it. Because, you know, I, for example, made this piece, and then somebody did their AI generated thing and created this one. As I was trying to, like, you know, wrap my head around this, because it's just what my thought process was when I first saw this. It was just like, wow. Within an hour of me sharing this piece, my life's work was just surpassed in a matter of like 60 minutes. All the skills I have developed, all the studying I've been doing, all the hard work I'm putting in, all the creativity and self-expression I was putting into my art was just surpassed, and just like that. Because, you know what I mean, I have like a real competitive nature. I can't just like appreciate art. I always end up comparing myself and seeing where I fall short, because I looked at this image and I looked at my own piece and I'm thinking like, this looks better than my own. This was executed a lot better than the piece that I put out. But it just made me feel like, even though I'm up here, after seeing that, it made me feel like I was way down here, and it was just a little overwhelming, because it was done in such a short amount of time, and it was just crazy to see. I don't really have any thoughts on, like, you know, if AI art is bad or anything. I just know what I have to do. Because for those of you who don't know, my goal is to be one of the greatest artists of all time. Like, you know, I want my artwork to be up there with all the other greats. I want to establish that immortality myself with like Salvador Dali, Caravaggio, Basquiat, Michelangelo. But then I did kind of think to myself, what would the greatest artist in the world do in a situation like this? And the conclusion I came to is that the greatest artist would never be discouraged. They would just keep moving forward, continue to improve, keep studying. So that's what I'm going to do. If you actually want to know more about this piece, if you're very interested in the concept and what I had to say, you can actually read more about this piece on my website, on my blog. So I recommend that you go ahead and do that. This piece is available for sale, so if you want to take it home, you can email me. We can talk about a payment plan if necessary, or you can just buy it from my website too. If you stayed to the end of the video, I really appreciate you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. But other than that, I'll catch y'all in the next video, man. See y'all later.